Welcome to World Numismatic Finds, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures of coin collecting and bring to light the fascinating history behind every piece of currency. Today, we turn our attention to the iconic sixpence coins of the United Kingdom, focusing on 5 remarkable years that have become favorites among collectors worldwide. From the vintage elegance of 1954 to the historical charm of 1956, the striking issues of 1958 and 1960, and the collectible rarity of 1965, these coins are far more than small pieces of silver and copper nickel. They represent cultural heritage and, in the present day, can command huge worth in the numismatic market. Join us as we explore the top 5 rare sixpence coins that every collector dreams of owning. Let's get started up with the 1954 United Kingdom sixpence coin. This small silver-colored piece of currency may appear ordinary at first glance, but it carries a wealth of cultural heritage, rarity, and collector intrigue that has turned it into a highly desirable treasure in today's global market. With circulation strikes still around but scarce in high grades, the 1954 sixpence is now commanding remarkable attention from enthusiasts and investors alike, with prices that have risen to extraordinary levels in both private sales and well-known auction houses. To set the stage, let us revisit the background of the sixpence. Introduced in the reign of Edward VI back in the 16th century, the coin became a long-standing fixture in British coinage, symbolizing not just monetary value but also tradition and superstition, particularly as the lucky sixpence that found its way into Christmas puddings and wedding customs. By the time we reach 1954, the sixpence had already established itself as a trusted everyday coin, struck in Q-Pro nickel rather than silver, following the transition during the Second World War. This period fell under the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, making the 1954 issue one of the very first bearing her youthful portrait. That alone lends it a degree of historical significance which collectors find irresistible. Turning to its design, the obverse side or the head of the coin proudly displays the first effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the talented sculptor Mary Gillick. Unlike later portraits, this early depiction shows the Queen without a crown, her youthful image radiating a sense of optimism and renewal in a post-war Britain still finding its place on the world stage. On the reverse, or tail side, we see a charming arrangement of a Tudor rose flanked by a thistle, shamrock, and leek, floral emblems representing the 4 nations of the United Kingdom. At the center sits the denomination, framed by the inscription FID Def Sixpence 1954, encapsulating tradition, unity, and national pride. The beauty of this dual design lies in its ability to blend symbolism with artistry, giving the coin far more than just spending power. The cultural and historical value of the 1954 sixpence cannot be overstated. It was minted during a transformative era when Britain was moving beyond wartime austerity and entering a new age under a young monarch whose reign would span decades. The coin itself became part of daily commerce, tucked away in purses, exchanged in shops, and cherished in family traditions. Many who held onto them did so for sentimental reasons, but few could have imagined that decades later, this unassuming coin would be coveted in international markets, selling for thousands of dollars at prestigious numismatic auctions. In terms of technical details, the coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and is composed of Q-Pro nickel, reflecting the post-war shift away from silver content. Measuring 19.41 millimeters in diameter, the sixpence was small yet durable, made for everyday use but also finely crafted enough to be admired by collectors who appreciate its design and detail. Key facts about the 1954 issue are what set it apart. It was not minted in massive numbers compared with earlier years, and circulation strikes from this date are scarce in top condition. Ordinary circulated examples may still surface from time to time, but coins graded at a very high level, such as Mint State 65, are exceedingly rare. Their rarity lies not just in the mintage but in the difficulty of finding pieces that have survived decades of use without heavy wear, scratches, or loss of luster. This brings us to the matter of rarity and collector demand. Numismatists across the globe place high value on coins that combine historical context with beauty and scarcity, and the 1954 sixpence fits this mold perfectly. As circulation pieces were heavily used, finding well-preserved examples is almost like searching for a needle in a haystack. This scarcity, especially in higher grades, has fueled a surge of interest in the market, as collectors and investors compete to secure the finest specimens. Speaking of today's market, the values for the 1954 sixpence have reached levels few could have anticipated. Coins graded in superb Mint State 65 condition have been known to achieve values in the region of $16,000, with some pieces pushing even further and realizing as much as $19,000 at well-established venues such as eBay, heritage auctions, and other international numismatic marketplaces. These staggering figures are not just about the coin's intrinsic worth, but about the story it tells, the history it embodies, and the demand it attracts from those eager to add it to their prized collections. For collectors, There are some useful tips to bear in mind when seeking a 1954 sixpence. Always pay close attention to the coin's condition, as wear, discoloration, or damage can greatly affect its desirability and market value. When possible, aim for certified examples graded by trusted numismatic services, as this ensures both authenticity and preservation. Keep an eye on reputable auction houses and specialist dealers, as top-quality pieces are most often found through these outlets rather than casual circulation finds. And above all, treat the coin as not just an investment, but as a piece of history that connects you with Britain's royal and cultural past. In conclusion, the 1954 sixpence of the United Kingdom is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of heritage, artistry, and scarcity that continues to capture the imagination of collectors worldwide. From its youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II to its national floral emblems, it represents a special moment in time, and its rarity has transformed it into one of the most sought-after pieces in British numismatics. With market values soaring from around $16,000 up to $19,000 at major auctions, this small but mighty coin proves that the world of numismatics still holds many surprises, and that treasures can be found in the most unassuming of places. Next up, the United Kingdom sixpence coin from the year 1965, a piece that continues to charm collectors across the globe. At first glance, one might see just a small silver-colored coin, and in many cases these coins may appear in dirty or circulated condition, but beneath that worn exterior lies a story of heritage, value, and an ever-growing demand in the numismatic market. What makes the 1965 sixpence so special is not only its historical place as part of pre-decimal British currency, but also the fact that collectors today are willing to pay remarkable sums, with some examples achieving astonishing figures of around $9,000 in mint state and even climbing as high as $11,200 at leading auctions such as eBay, heritage auctions, and other global platforms. To fully understand the appeal of this coin, we need to step back and look at its background and representation. The sixpence had long been a favourite denomination in the United Kingdom, dating back to the reign of Edward VI in the 16th century. By 1965, Britain was approaching the Great Decimalisation Reform of 1971, and coins like the sixpence carried both everyday utility and a sense of tradition. On the obverse, the 1965 piece proudly bears the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolising stability and continuity at a time when the nation was modernising. The reverse features the elegant design by William Gardner, with interwoven floral emblems representing the four nations of the United Kingdom: the Rose of England, the Thistle of Scotland, the Shamrock of Ireland, and the Leek of Wales. This thoughtful combination captured the unity of the realm in a small yet striking form, reminding the public of their shared cultural identity every time they held the coin. Culturally and historically, the sixpence held a beloved place in British life. For centuries, it had been linked with good luck traditions, especially in weddings where a bride would tuck one into her shoe as a symbol of prosperity and happiness. In the 1960s, while the world was changing rapidly, the sixpence continued to embody nostalgia, patriotism, and social customs, serving not just as money but as a cultural icon. For historians and collectors today, this sentimental association adds a deeper layer of value beyond the physical coin itself. In terms of weight and composition, the 1965 sixpence was struck in cupronickel, as silver had been removed from circulation coins after 1946. It weighed around 2.83 grams and had a diameter of approximately 19.3 millimeters, making it a modestly sized but distinctly recognizable coin. Despite its humble appearance, it is the rarity of condition and the historical moment it represents that elevate its worth in the modern numismatic scene. When we look at the key facts, the mintage of the 1965 sixpence was not especially low, but the survival of coins in superb, well-preserved states is far less common. Many were heavily circulated, spent in shops and markets, and as such ended up in dirty or worn condition, which is why pristine examples certified at high grades such as Mint State 65 are now considered incredibly rare and highly desirable. This explains why, on today's market, while a common circulated coin may fetch only a modest sum, a high-grade specimen can command jaw-dropping prices, with certain examples sold at eBay and major auction houses reaching around $9,000, and in some cases climbing to an extraordinary $11,200. These figures are not just reflective of the physical rarity but also of the powerful demand among collectors who recognize the coin's historical and cultural significance. For collectors, the 1965 sixpence offers both opportunity and challenge. Those who come across circulated examples in less than perfect condition should not dismiss them, as even dirty coins can hold interest for those building typesets or for newer enthusiasts entering the world of coin collecting. However, the greatest demand and financial return will always focus on coins in exceptional condition, so careful attention should be paid to grading, certification, and provenance. If you are aiming to invest in such a piece, Platforms like heritage auctions, eBay, and other numismatic markets provide excellent avenues, but always ensure authenticity and look for coins that have been professionally graded. In conclusion, the 1965 United Kingdom sixpence may be small in size but is monumental in meaning and potential value. From its elegant design representing the unity of the realm, to its rich cultural associations with good fortune, and its scarcity in top condition, this coin remains a powerful draw for collectors worldwide. Whether found in a drawer in worn and dirty condition or displayed in a protective holder in gleaming mint state, it carries with it a piece of Britain's past and a promise of lasting value. With examples reaching astonishing sums of $9,000 and even over $11,000 at auction, it is clear that the 1965 sixpence is far more than pocket change. It is a treasure waiting to be appreciated. Next up, we bring you a truly fascinating treasure from Britain's past, the 1958 United Kingdom sixpence coin. This small but powerful piece of history holds far more than its modest size suggests. It is a coin that connects us to the late 1950s, a time of cultural transition, post-war recovery, and remarkable developments in British society. The 1958 sixpence is not only a collectible of monetary worth, but also a shining example of craftsmanship and history blended together in one tiny silver-colored coin. The background of the sixpence is rich and layered. First introduced during the reign of Edward VI in the mid-16th century, the sixpence coin became a staple of British currency for centuries, with its design evolving over time while always maintaining its essential role in everyday life. By the time the 1958 issue appeared, Queen Elizabeth II had only recently ascended the throne, and her youthful portrait graced the obverse of the coin. This portrait, designed by Mary Gillick, captured the freshness and optimism of a new monarch, representing hope and modernity in a changing Britain. On the reverse, the design carried the symbolic floral emblems of the United Kingdom, the Tudor rose, thistle, shamrock, and leek, beautifully woven together to signify unity among the nations of the realm. Culturally and historically, the sixpence had long been cherished not only as money but also as a token of good fortune. It was famously tucked into Christmas puddings, sewn into wedding gowns, and even passed down through families as a lucky charm. In the 1950s, when Britain was still recovering from the shadow of the Second World War, this coin represented stability, continuity, and tradition. The 1958 sixpence was widely circulated and handled by countless ordinary people, making it both a practical piece of money and a beloved cultural object. The technical details of the coin further add to its appeal. The 1958 sixpence was struck in cupronickel, a blend of copper and nickel, rather than silver, which had been phased out of British coinage in earlier years. It weighed approximately 2.83 grams and measured 19.3 millimeters in diameter. Its milled edge and strikingly balanced design ensured both durability in circulation and visual charm that still attracts collectors today. When it comes to key facts, collectors are particularly interested in the production run and survival rates of such coins. While the 1958 issue was struck in decent numbers, few examples have survived in truly fine or higher grades due to their extensive use in everyday commerce. Coins in fine condition, like the one we are focusing on today, remain attractive to collectors, but it is the superbly preserved examples in mint state that have become the true stars of the numismatic world. Rarity and condition are crucial factors for collector demand. A 1958 sixpence in fine circulated condition still carries historical and sentimental value, but it is the higher grade pieces, particularly those graded mint state 65, MS65, by professional grading services, that command extraordinary interest. Such coins are remarkably rare, showing pristine surfaces, sharp strikes, and almost no signs of handling. In today's market, a 1958 sixpence graded MS65 can fetch around $3,200, with certain auctions, including those on platforms such as eBay and heritage auctions, pushing values even higher, with some examples reaching as much as $4,300. This surge in value is a testament to both the rarity of the condition and the ongoing demand for coins from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. For collectors, the key to maximizing value lies in careful preservation and informed acquisition. When seeking out a 1958 sixpence, attention should be paid to details such as the sharpness of the strike, the preservation of the floral emblems on the reverse, and the clarity of the Queen's youthful portrait on the obverse. Even coins in fine condition can appreciate in value over time, but those who secure mint state examples stand to benefit most from rising demand in the global numismatic market. Collectors are advised to source coins from reputable dealers or well-known auction houses to ensure authenticity and accurate grading. In conclusion, the 1958 sixpence is much more than just a small denomination coin from mid-20th century Britain. It is a symbol of cultural traditions, royal history, and the craftsmanship of a bygone era. For those fortunate enough to own one, especially in higher grades, its market value today can be truly impressive, ranging from around $3,200 for MS-65 examples to upwards of $4,300 in leading auctions. This places the coin firmly in the spotlight as a rare and highly desirable collectible. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or a new enthusiast, the 1958 sixpence offers a remarkable opportunity to own a tangible piece of Britain's past while also securing a valuable asset for the future. Next up, the United Kingdom from the year 1960, a piece that continues to inspire excitement among collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. At first glance, the 1960 sixpence may appear to be just another coin from circulation, but the truth is that its history, its cultural importance, and its growing collector demand make it a real standout in the world of numismatics. Even in circulation condition, this coin carries not only monetary value but also the weight of tradition and historical context, which elevates it to a highly desirable collector's item. Looking at the background of this coin, the 1960 sixpence was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose youthful portrait by Mary Gillick adorns the obverse side. This image captures Her Majesty at the beginning of her reign, a representation of optimism and continuity for the nation at a time of post-war rebuilding and cultural change. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays the Tudor rose, a symbol deeply ingrained in English history, surrounded by a thistle, a shamrock, and a leek, each representing Scotland, Ireland, and Wales respectively. This design is not only visually striking but also represents unity within the United Kingdom, making the sixpence more than just currency. It was, and still is, a reflection of national identity. Culturally and historically, the sixpence held a unique place in British life. Beyond its role in day-to-day transactions, it was traditionally given as a lucky charm, especially in weddings, where sixpence in the bride's shoe symbolized prosperity and happiness. It was also a cherished coin for children, often slipped into Christmas puddings for good luck, cementing its reputation as a coin of joy, tradition, and sentiment. This cultural resonance gives the 1960 sixpence a depth of meaning far greater than its small size might suggest. In terms of technical details, the 1960 sixpence was struck in cupronickel after the end of silver issues in 1946. The coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures 19.41 millimeters in diameter, making it small yet instantly recognizable in the hand. These figures may seem like simple specifications, but they are an important part of identifying genuine examples and distinguishing them from other denominations of the same period. Some key facts about the 1960 sixpence are worth noting. While millions were struck for circulation, the real value lies in how well the coin has been preserved. Many of these coins show heavy wear from circulation, yet those that survive in exceptionally high grades command extraordinary attention at auction. It is this distinction between ordinary circulated examples and those preserved in near-pristine mint state condition that drives the collector market today. Speaking of rarity and condition, coins that remain in circulation condition certainly hold appeal, especially for beginner collectors, but the demand skyrockets when one encounters a coin graded at the highest levels. A sixpence from 1960 in mint state, particularly at MS-65, has been recorded at valuations as high as $5,300, an astonishing figure for such a small coin. Even more impressively, some specimens have been known to fetch as much as $6,000 at major auction platforms, including respected outlets such as eBay and heritage auctions. This demonstrates the enduring charm and desirability of this coin, and it is clear that the market for sixpence coins, especially those from Queen Elizabeth II's early years, is thriving. For collectors considering adding a 1960 sixpence to their portfolio, there are a few valuable tips to keep in mind. Always assess the condition carefully, paying close attention to the detail in the Queen's portrait and the sharpness of the floral reverse design. Look for coins that retain their luster and avoid examples with heavy scratches or corrosion. Authenticity is vital, so sourcing coins from reputable dealers, verified auctions, or trusted platforms is strongly recommended. Patience is also key. While circulated examples are relatively accessible, waiting for the right high-grade piece can prove extremely rewarding both in terms of satisfaction and investment. In conclusion, the 1960 sixpence is not just a remnant of British coinage. It is a symbol of history, culture, and tradition that continues to inspire collectors around the world. Its background, cultural symbolism, and technical details all contribute to its appeal, while its increasing rarity in high-grade condition has propelled it to impressive market values, sometimes exceeding $5,000 or even $6,000 at auction. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone new to numismatics, the 1960 sixpence offers a fascinating entry point into the rich story of British coinage, blending affordability in circulated condition with the thrill of extraordinary value in pristine examples. This coin is a perfect reminder that even the smallest pieces of change can hold a fortune in history, meaning, and demand. At last we are shining the spotlight on the remarkable 1956 edition. This particular year of the sixpence holds a special place in coin collecting circles, not only because of its elegant design but also because of its historical setting within the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. For anyone passionate about building a strong collection, the 1956 sixpence is a shining reminder of Britain's post-war resilience and the traditions carried through its coinage. The background of the 1956 sixpence is rooted in a period of cultural transition, as the young Queen Elizabeth II had ascended the throne just a few years earlier, ushering in what became known as the New Elizabethan era. On the obverse, or head side, we see the first definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by Mary Gillick, which radiates youth, dignity, and hope for a brighter future. The reverse, or tail side, bears the iconic Tudor rose at the centre, flanked by a thistle, shamrock, and leek, symbolising the unity of England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. Together, these national emblems created not only a beautiful piece of design, but also a cultural emblem of harmony across the United Kingdom during a transformative time in its history. Beyond the artistry, the 1956 sixpence carries immense cultural and historical value. The sixpence had long been considered a lucky coin, especially when given as a wedding gift or placed inside a Christmas pudding, and so these coins were woven into the fabric of family traditions and folk customs. For this reason, they were often carefully kept rather than spent, which helps explain why surviving examples are highly valued by collectors today. The 1956 edition stands out because it was struck during the very early years of the Queen's reign, adding an extra layer of appeal for those who seek coins tied to pivotal historical moments. In terms of specifications, the 1956 sixpence was struck in cupronickel rather than the earlier silver alloy, reflecting the post-war changes in coinage metals. The coin weighs around 2.83 grams and has a diameter of just over 19 millimeters, making it small in size but substantial in significance. Its durability ensured that many examples survived, but as with all collectible coins, it is the quality of preservation that truly sets apart the most desirable pieces. When considering key facts, it is essential to note that while the 1956 sixpence had a relatively standard mintage, fine condition coins and higher graded examples remain scarce in the modern market. This scarcity is amplified when we speak of those coins graded by professional services at MS65, where the surfaces are almost flawless and the luster is remarkably intact. Such coins are exceptionally rare and command staggering premiums when they appear at major auctions or specialist sales. Collectors place great emphasis on rarity and condition, and in this regard, the 1956 sixpence in fine condition remains highly attractive. However, when preserved at top levels such as MS65, its desirability climbs dramatically, making it one of the star pieces in any British coin collection. The market reflects this heightened demand, with current values in the region of $8,000 for MS65 examples, while at auction sites such as eBay, Heritage Auctions, and other international platforms, realized prices can even touch $9,000 or more. This shows just how strong the appetite is for high-grade examples of the 1956 sixpence, and how collectors around the world are competing fiercely to secure one for their collections. For those interested in pursuing a coin like this, there are some helpful tips worth considering. Always ensure that any sixpence you acquire has been carefully authenticated, ideally with professional grading for the highest value specimens. It is wise to purchase from trusted dealers or auction houses, and to understand the nuances between circulated, fine, and uncirculated conditions, as these differences are what drive the market values into the thousands. Moreover, because of its cultural ties and long-standing traditions, the 1956 sixpence appeals to both collectors and enthusiasts of British history, meaning its popularity and demand are unlikely to diminish. In conclusion, the 1956 sixpence of the United Kingdom is more than just a small coin. It is a cultural artifact, a piece of national identity, and an investment-worthy collectible. Its fine condition examples are desirable, but its upper-graded MS65 survivors are among the most coveted, reaching extraordinary values of around $8,000 to $9,000 in today's market. This demand highlights the enduring allure of the sixpence series and ensures that coins like the 1956 edition continue to capture both hearts and wallets across the numismatic community. If you are considering adding one to your collection, now is the time to do so, as these coins only grow rarer and more valuable with each passing year. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned to World Numismatic Finds for more rare and valuable coin discoveries from around the world.